Hello and welcome to Suzuka, and a bit of crashing going on in the background there. Great start we're having. Anyways, we are at Suzuka for today's IVGTC race, and we are racing in the dark, as you can see. Ooh, lovely. We have been missing some night racing. So, today I am here commentating with, thankfully, assistance by Reska Kyoso. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Bit rushed to get here, but glad I'm here.
Yeah, I'm also very glad you're here. So, yeah, we have two championships. Well, we have one championship that is still open for decision, which is the Sim Racing Championship. The VTuber Championship seems pretty decided, with Amelia Anderson being ahead by about 100 points off of the next competitors. In the sim races, let's take a look. Chris Blue is ahead of Pavel Peter by, like, what's that? 24 points. So there's still something to be decided there. Is any one of the two in yet? Doesn't seem like it.
No, not at the moment.
Okay, then it might be Lycoseas? No, it doesn't. Well, there are a few interesting battles that will be going on today. We have just finished the qualifying session, and it looks like that is a long name. Is in pole.
Arara no Kyoji, I think, is how I was supposed to say that.
That is, yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Ararano Kyoji is leading the field in front of Emilia Anderson, Mirko VR, Kaibo Damaso, Albert Georgi, Anatoly Bujnovic, Victor Masato, Damian Pristupa, Tom Hartog, Shike Hawken, Radium, Atskia, Fungus, Brunch, Overdrive, Dabrovka, and Mentrix. We might not have the biggest field today due to some technical issues, but we sure have an interesting field, seeing that especially, again, there are some VTubers that are quite high up the standings. It's going to be a nice battle at the front there. What do you think?
Yeah, we're used to seeing some of the sim racers out front, and it is a sim racer on the pole position right now. But yeah, the next three positions, all VTubers at the moment on the grid. So it should be interesting to see how they get on.
Yeah, lovely. What I tend to see, I don't know why, but it seems like the quickest people around always drive the BMW M4 right now. It might be that it's just a better car. It might just also be that it feels the best for our quicker drivers that we have around. But it's interesting to see that the BMWs are doing quite well.
Yeah, I've not driven it much in this game, but if it's anything like the iRacing version, it's feels like the all-round best one, just because it's not slow in any particular regard, but also it's easy to drive. To be honest, you're not fighting the car in any way like some of the other cars. I've heard the Ferrari's fast at the moment in ACC, but apparently a bit more of a handful. So the M4 just easy to get on with and not exactly slow either. So it's always a popular choice.
Yeah, great to have a bit of insight from an active sim racer here. That's lovely. It's almost as if
Active.
this was planned.
Active. When was the last time I raced in this series and finished a race?
Well, it's more recent than my last race,
Maybe
to be
so.
quite honest. So, yeah. But yeah, as you said, you're racing iRacing at the time too, right? So that's even more than I'm doing, that I've ever done.
Fair enough.
So yeah, we are at the what is it? Warm-up lap, I guess. Or is it the formation lap? Formation lap already. We don't have a warm-up lap in here. The formation lap is quite a long one because we're on Suzuka, if you haven't noticed already, and Suzuka is quite a long track. It is one of the longest in Assetto Corsa Competizione. I think it's up there with Bathurst, if I'm
really?
correct. Yeah, they're both around the close above 2-minute mark to finish a lap, and I just believe I don't know actually which of the two tracks is longer.
I'm surprised because
But
Suzuka never feels long to me. It always feels, yeah, probably because it's quite a fast track, but it feels. It surprises me when you say it's the longest track in the game or one of them.
yeah, especially because it's such a fast track. You see, that means you cover a lot more ground in less time. So of course there is going to be quite the distance covered. Let's actually see here if I have any infos. It's almost 6 kilometers or 3.6 miles long. It's quite a long track speaking globally even. Because I don't think Formula 1, for example, is ever racing on any longer track. Even the street circuits are shorter.
In fact, Spa's probably longer, isn't it? Longer than Suzuka.
Yeah, Spa is 6.8 kilometers, I believe, or close to 7. But yeah, Spa is really an exception.
Yeah.
We have to say, it is of course a historic venue, such as Suzuka is too. So yeah, we're coming into what's that? 130R, I believe, right now.
Yeah, just
The
coming
quickest
out and
corner on the track.
and yeah, they'll be forming up 2 by 2 now, I think, as they go into the final chicane, the Casio Triangle, getting ready for the start.
Getting ready for the start out of the Casio Triangle. Yes, that is always. Well, it's. Let me just say, it's the last possibility for anyone to spin on the opening lap. But it seems like everyone made it through without a hiccup. So now it's just about who has the better positioning. Will it be Ararano Kyoji?
Well done.
Or will it be Emilia Anderson? Getting the jump start, getting the whole shot, as they say in MotoGP. We will see in just a few seconds.
Green light. Go, go, go.
And we are green, we are racing, and it seems like there's a good start from the second row, and a good start especially from Ararano Kyoji, already making up a few car lengths ahead of Emilia Anderson off the start-finish line. And there's a bit of a tumble further behind. Victor Masato is battling to gain positions to catch up to their fellow VTubers.
I saw DJ Overdrive getting a bit sideways out of the first 2 corners there, falling back a little bit. Still close up front though. It's just mere a car length or so between the 2 BMWs.
Yeah, I wanted to say the same right now. The 2 BMWs looking quite well placed, although Ararano Kyoji having a bit of a better time through the darkness, and there's a yellow flag in behind. Someone lost it. It seems to be Mentrix.
Mentrix and Adskia off, I believe that's Degna 1.
It's unfortunate for the 2.
Here we got a
Let's
replay
see the replay.
Here.
Just a bit of off-tracking, and they're coming together into the turn, and oh.
Yeah, it's difficult, that one. You think you can take it flat, but when you go offline, it actually becomes a little bit more difficult than that in a car like this.
Going offline is one thing, going off track is another. But yeah, further up ahead, Ararano Kyoji is looking up ahead, already making up a gap of over a second to Emilia Anderson.
Indeed, Anderson now more under pressure from Damasu behind, rather than looking at the lead right now. Only half a second gap there. Makura only a further 0.7 behind, so close between these three VTubers.
Yeah, and Damasu and Merkur VR are both fighting for podium positions in the championship, so it's gonna be interesting between those two. And especially those top places always give the better points. What is it? 25 points for the win, 20 points for second place, and 16 points for third place. And Kaibo even having the purple lap right now. Well done by the Porsche driver. Interesting to see Porsche doing well as well on this track.
A really close battle here between Hartog and Prestupa for 7th place. Although Prestupa just losing some ground there, actually ends up getting passed by Shike Håkan in the other Porsche. Oh, but Shike loses it. Ends up in the barrier a little bit there, but has recovered, pointing in the right direction.
Losing a position in the place, however, to Radium's Honda. Ooh, like seeing a Honda, the off-meta pick, especially on its home track.
Indeed, I think it can be fast to the right hands, that Honda, but one that's hard to master. Same can be said of the Porsche, I believe, as well.
Definitely, these mid-engine cars of the Honda, of the Audi, are definitely challenging to drive on tracks that have much elevation changes in my experience, whereas the Porsche is difficult to handle in some slower corners when you're accelerating out of the corner and you have all of the power and all of the weight on the rear. Further up, we've got Anatoly Buinovic and Albert Georgi in a bit of a battle there for second position in the sim racing class. Buinovic currently with the upper hand, but Georgi is looking at the rear of that Mercedes.
Just jumping ahead a bit, Damasu is under pressure from Merkur now, although just pulls out the gap as I switch to them, but it was looking very close into the first corners there. The battle keeps moving back a bit. First we saw Anderson on the back of Arada no Kyoji, then Damasu was on the back of Anderson, but now Merkur is looking at Damasu, so everyone has a look but then falls back a bit, it seems, in his opening stages.
There's always a bit of a finding themselves on the track, the drivers, because this is the first night race we're having at IVGTC. Many of the drivers here have not experienced something like this before, and yeah, it definitely hinders the visibility a bit, but after some laps they should get used to it and find back to the normal pace.
Buinovic just made a little mistake on the exit of the Degners, and I thought Georgi wanted to have a look into the hairpin, but ended up losing ground as a result of having a look, because they weren't quite close enough.
But Georgi taking the more inside line through the exit of Spoon. They are now on the rear of Buinovic. Can they go for an overtake out of the slipstream? The Merc is a straight line wonder, the McLaren as well though, but it seems like Georgi does not make up enough space to go for it into the Casio triangle. It looks like Georgi is taking a better line there, but on the exit, there's a spin for Buinovic, and he spins into the pit lane. What an unfortunate situation. Now they have to go through the entire pit lane.
That's very unfortunate. Just the worst place to end up spinning into, because you can't go back from there. That'd almost certainly be a penalty. So having to take a drive through, unfortunately, but yeah, just really unfortunate timing there. They're going to drop well back in the field, almost to last place here.
I have to say, though, that is not something that is too uncommon. I myself have been in the same situation a few years back, racing around Suzuka in a league race.
I think Buinovic will come out in front of DJ Overdrive in 13th place now, unfortunately for them. I think Victor Masato has dropped back in the early stages, actually. I think we missed that, but he is on a bit of a charge. You saw him making up a position earlier on, and now he's very close to Dubrovka in the Aston Martin. Half a second at the moment, and catching as they head towards the Degnas. Yeah, right on the tail now. As Dubrovka goes a bit wide, will Victor look for a hairpin dive? Doesn't look close enough to me. Nope, thinks better of it for now.
Dubrovka goes for a very defensive line, very early apex.
Goes a bit wide as a result on the exit. Victor should have a better exit, but I imagine the straight line speed in that Aston Martin is pretty good.
Well, the McLaren is also not bad in a straight line, but it seems like they are kind of on par right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a bit of understeer on the exit for Dubrovka. Victor is very close now, but will he want a 130R move? Quite dangerous to try in there unless you're really alongside. Nah, it doesn't look like he'll be anywhere near close enough.
Or maybe thinks better of it, just staying in the slipstream for now.
Yeah, Victor's a very patient driver. He will move up positions. He'll make moves, but he bides his time with them. You never see him being super aggressive, but he works his way up into good positions anyway. Arano Kyoji has been continuously pulling out this gap. 2.8 seconds now. Radium with a yellow flag. I think just going a bit wide in turns 1 and 2 there. But recovers and is back on track. Oh, Masato very close now on Dubrovka. Going up through the SS section in Sector 1.
The SS is always the bane of my existence when driving around Suzuka.
It's the best part of the track.
Yeah, okay. Let's agree to disagree. Yeah.
Fair enough, but Victor has used that to get right on the back here of Dubrovka. Not super close as he was on the previous lap, though. Dubrovka gets a better exit out of the Degnas and pulls out a little bit of a gap now. Radium's close to Shikai Hawken in the Porsche ahead of him as well. Not quite there yet, but the gap is coming down.
That was a bit of an unsettled Honda if I've ever seen one. Just a bit, though. On the exit of the spoon. The Honda usually is really good in a straight line. It is, without a doubt, the best car you can drive around Bathurst, for example, because of the long straights and the great top speed. It should have a top speed advantage above the Porsche, especially here on the straights. But can Radium play it out here behind Shike? Shike going for a bit of a defensive maneuver, but seeing that Radium is not close enough for a move into the first few corners.
No, but it does look at this point in the race, Radium does have the pace on Shike right now, so I think if he finds the opportunity, he's going to try and take it. But opportunities are hard to come by in the S's. He's looking for one, though. Almost wanted to go around the outside there, but not sure you'd find the grip for it, really, in a GT3. Going through the Degnas now. Really one line through here, though, unless you're really brave to try and send it, but thinks better of it for now. Close, we got both the battles on track in the same spot of the track, because behind them is Victor and Dubrovka. Going through the hairpin as well. Very close between them, but again, Masato still can't quite find an opportunity, can't find an opening. and neither can Radium at the moment. Oh, Radium goes
that's
wide.
a bit wide. Both of them go wide, but
Yeah.
Radium is just a bit more. And this makes this seem like it becomes a four-way battle for P8 overall.
Yeah, it very nearly is now. We've got Dubrovka closing right in and Victor not far behind as well. So these two in front battling hard, pushing hard and making mistakes. It's going to become a four-way battle very quickly here. Oh, and Shikai goes wide in the chicane. Loses a few positions. I think Victor will get through as well. So drops to the back of this train and actually goes wide as well as Victor passes.
Very unfortunate for Hawken. But now we have the battle of the sim racers raging here in the midfield.
Yeah, Radium. Radium and Dubrovka here are now quite close. Not sure if Radium will now pull away now that he's been released without Shikai in front of him. But we will see. But Dubrovka following and Masato still very close as well.
One thing I just have to mention because we saw it on the background right now. Suzuka at night is one of the most beautiful tracks there is just because of the Ferris wheel on the back. You see it there?
Yes, yeah. Totally agree.
I don't think we could have chosen any better track to race at night.
Dubrovka kind of looking for a move there, but actually, looks like he gets a better exit than the NSX in front. But actually, the NSX just pulls away, gets the traction, and gets the power down better. So they still remain the same gap, but Dubrovka not letting Radium get away now. Oh, looks for a move into Spoon as well. He's looking everywhere, but doesn't actually send it yet. Not quite close enough. I feel like that's compromised him a little bit as well, because Victor now looks closer to him than he is to Radium. So Victor now getting back in on this battle. Dubrovka having a look into the chicane. Yes, they keep it clean side by side on the exit. The NSX with a great exit there, actually, of Radium. Manages to keep it ahead despite the bit of a dive. Oh, and Masato just runs into the grass a little bit. Keeps it out of the wall, but loses traction to the battle ahead, which still rages on as Dubrovka looks for the outside of turn one. Gets well ahead, actually, but will Radium send it in on the inside? No, lets Dubrovka go around on the outside. So Dubrovka gets the position for now, but Radium is still right behind him at the moment. This battling is letting Shikai catch up to this battle. Victor's still right there as well. So it could become a four-way battle once again very soon.
It all depends on whether Dubrovka is able to run away with it now or has to go defensive against the oncoming NSX. But it looks like they have to go defensive because the power of the Japanese engine is looking rather furious right now through the Degnus, as well as Masato coming very close to the rear of the NSX.
Yeah, I think Victor may have slightly missed his braking point there, but not enough to cause an incident, thankfully.
Managed to make it stick in the end, and that is the most important thing.
It's interesting looking at the NSX with the mid-engine and the Aston in front. They seem to make their time in very different parts of the circuit. The NSX seems mighty in the S's, but just like the previous lap, the Aston pulls away here on the run down to Spoon. Or in the last lap he caught the NSX. So, Radium just getting a bit out of shape there, going a bit wide. Victor is now right behind as they go towards 130R. Looks like
kind of it seems kind of unstable, the NSX on the exit of Spoon, as he gets attacked by Masato, but Masato thinks better of it into 130R.
Always right there though. Radium going a bit defensive, but coming back to the racing line on the braking zone. Victor has to slot in and follow through. Doesn't look like that Masato will be close enough for a move into turn 1 here, though. The NSX just pulling away under traction out of the Casio triangle. Oh, a big slide there into turn 2 from Radium. Masato coming alongside again, but doesn't have the inside. Keeps it around the outside, though. Gives him the inside for this part of the S's. Gets ahead. Yeah, Radium looking, seems to be struggling with NSX right now. Potentially overheating the tyres, perhaps, after the battling earlier on and paying for it now. Either way, struggling with the car and losing a few positions here now. Oh, there's Panic Fungus with the yellow flag, just having a bit of a spin, I think, there through the S's. Let's have a look on the replay. Oh yeah, just got a bit of oversteer, I think, which sent them onto the grass one side, corrected, sent them back to the other side. But continues, only a bit of time lost. Now what I want to see is if Masato can catch up to Dubrovka now that they are ahead of Radium. Because they were, Masato was catching earlier on before all that drama. Will they be able to catch back up?
Well, if Dubrovka is driving those kind of lines, then Masato will sooner or later catch up to them, but it looks like it might even be sooner, as they are pretty equal in terms of distance to each other now.
Indeed, Radium hanging on there as well, despite appearing to struggle, has managed to put in a good rest of the lap and is hanging with Masato here.
I think for the NSX the problem is you have to have a really good setup to make it stable through the corners, but on the straights it always catches up.
Yeah, and it's really a case of knowing your car's strengths over other people and making it work to those strengths, you know. And currently Radium is using that straight line speed to stay in touch here. Masato is catching, I think, just little by little. Not very far off the back of that Aston Martin now. Going a bit forward to the other Aston Martin, or another of the Aston Martins, Mercure has caught up to the back of Damasu right now, looking for third place overall. Still a bit of a gap, but it's within a second now.
Yeah, it is going to be a battle of the returnee of Damasu versus the evergreen driver of Mercure. Mercure looking to defend the honor of staying ahead in the championship, and making up that position would gain them 8 points as they come up to the first of back markers. I believe that might be Mentrix?
I believe so, in the other red Aston Martin, the older one. Mercure gets through on the inside there, nice and easy, but has lost a little bit of time in that exchange. I think we just had a change of position here. Hartog and Pristupa. Hartog ahead now. Very close between these two. Oh! Well, not anymore. The BMW tapped into a spin there. Pristupa tries to let them back through, I think. But Hartog taking some time to rejoin the circuit in the right direction there. Gets going again. And hey, look, it's the battle we've been following for so long. It's caught right up to Hartog there now. So on the tail end, we have Dubrovka and Masato, Radium, and Hawken coming up to him now. I think that's the Lexus of DJ Overdrive, I believe, being put a lap down here into the Degners. Very close between Dubrovka and Assetto as they try and pass this back marker. Assetto making use of that opportunity, getting around the outside. As the Lexus now lets this whole battle through. They both go on the grass though together, and then both go wide. But as they were, Assetto remains ahead at the moment. Will Dubrovka be able to catch back up? Radium is now actually in the battle again with Hawken as they try and get past this this Lexus. Hawken looks like he'll get through on the run to 130R. Oh, Jordan Brunch. Oh, we got an incident here. Let's just take a look on the replay there, what happened. I believe this is Jordan Brunch looking to pass, is that Mentrix, I believe? Oh, goes a bit deep and knocks Mentrix. They both spin out here.
Yeah, the stewards are gonna have a party at that one.
Looking back up ahead, still within a second, Makura on Damasu, but not quite close enough yet. Dubrovka still very close to Assetto further back, looking to get that spot back. Dubrovka will probably feel that was just a really unfortunate situation for him, having you know, the back marker there. Assetto made the most of the situation, but Dubrovka won't be happy with being pounced on in that way, I think. Oh, DJ Overdrive in the pits. I think they may have had an incident.
No, it looks like they're
Oh, yes.
fulfilling their stop go 30.
Ah, indeed, yes. Makura edging closer to Damasu, up for looking for third place in the overall standings, which is now the closest battle on track. Very deep, Makura into the Casio triangle. A good exit from the Porsche though, as they go down the front stretch.
The Aston is massive on the brakes. It's not deep, it just brakes like 10 meters later than every other car.
It is interesting when you see two evenly matched drivers in different cars. You really see the strengths of the cars and weaknesses on display when you watch them race like this.
Indeed, and it looks like through the S's, it is advantage Porsche ahead of the Aston Martin. At least by the tiniest bit.
Yeah, just bringing that gap up to 7/10 again, as it has hovered for the last few laps, it feels. Will Makura be able to bring that gap down again towards the end of the lap, where he appears to be stronger? So far, Damasu pulling out to almost a second. Just for a moment there, it flicked up to 1 second, the gap. Shikai Hawken down in 11th place overall. Gradually bringing the gap down on Radium again to within a second. Radium is actually bringing the gap to Dubrovka back down to within a second. Dubrovka has fallen behind Assetto though. Now 3.7 seconds the gap there, so Assetto, now that he's got that clear air, really pulling away. But the battle rages on behind him.
Assetto might just need to get a bit more aggressive in the future. Going for the overtakes early, or trying to at least, in order to get that clean air. Especially if they know that they have the better pace.
Indeed, you know, I thought maybe he did have a pace advantage, but seeing him pull away this much, you know, he had pace they just could not use behind the other cars. So yeah, if he had had clear air early on, you know, he could have been much further up potentially. Dubrovka had a few mistakes in spin there. I think Radium is right behind now. Won't be close enough into 130R, I think. But it's going to be very close as they come to the chicane.
The Aston Wonder on the brakes, though. Keep that in mind. And it's a hard braking zone into the Casio triangle.
Yeah, I almost expected more likely to have a move down here into the first corner, but the gap has pulled out quite a bit thanks to that. Great braking the Aston, and Radium is not close enough at the moment. Makur is still very close to Damasu, but just not able to really crack the 0.5 second gap here. Will the Aston have the legs on the Porsche down the run to 130R? Can he get the gap close enough to use those brakes on the Aston into the chicane? I'm not sure, at least on this time of asking. He closes up so much to the Porsche there. The gap becomes almost nothing for a moment. Then the Porsche can just power out of the chicane and bring the gap up a bit again, and Damasu becomes just a little bit more comfortable. Makur having a look there.
Tiniest bit.
He's not close enough, but he wanted to get in the mirrors there, didn't he? Oh wait, Damasu goes wide.
It actually worked, getting into the mirrors, getting into
Indeed.
the mind of Damasu there.
Let's watch Damasu here as into turn one. Oh, just the slightest bit of oversteer and an overcorrection into the gravel.
And that is the danger of the Porsche, everybody. All the weight is on the rear tires, and
I think Makur having a connection issue there. I'm not sure if that's temporary,
oh.
but Makur showing off the track there. Not sure what's going on, but hopefully the connection restores. No, I believe...
seems like they disconnected.
Indeed, that's so unfortunate after just making up that position. Damasu gets it right back, and everyone moves up a spot, unfortunately, for Makur. Adskia having a trip to the grass there. Down in 16th place. Just going a bit wide at Spoon. Oh, and a spin to follow as well.
Yeah, taking all of the curb on the inside there is not always the best idea.
No, especially not when you're recovering from a little bit of off-track moment anyway.
Especially that. But it seems like the NSX is again right on the back of Dubrovka. Through the Degner curves, it should be advantage Aston, but the NSX is pulling out quite a bit of time there. Now right in the rear view mirror. Dubrovka going very defensive. Who has the better exit out of the corner? They are side by side. Looks like advantage Dubrovka for now. However, the top speed of the NSX on this right-hander into Spoon, what can he do?
Oh,
he
big
can
moment
go
on
for
the
the overtake.
Can the NSX keep it together? A bit loose on the exit there. This may give the Aston Martin a run back. He's got... Oh, actually, Radium giving the position back, it looks like there. It looks like Radium must have lifted off. I think they felt that they had dived in too hard there, wanted to get the position back and have another go. If Radium gets a good exit here, potentially there's a turn one move on the cards. Doesn't look quite close enough at the moment, though.
It's interesting that they gave back the position, especially looking at the time. We only have a few minutes left, and that means 2 laps probably left of this race.
Indeed, you know, you're giving it back, potentially the fair thing to do, but there's another argument that says, well, if you're going to get a penalty, try and take it and see what happens. But gets back through in the S's anyway, though. What a nice move.
I don't even know how.
I'm going to watch that again on the helicam. Dives around the outside, gets alongside. Oh, that's fantastic. So much grip on the outside for that NSX. That's almost unbelievable to watch.
That's a brilliant move, but how does it work? Oh, holy hell.
We knew the NSX was strong in the S's, but I didn't think it was quite that strong. That looks like a, you know, multi-class pass rather than just a GT3 on a GT3.
It does, almost as if the Vantage is the GT4 version.
Yes. Fantastic move there from Radium, and we'll see if Dubrov can come back. Shikai has been watching on from behind, only 0.7 behind this battle, trying to see if there's an opportunity, but nothing has arisen for him just yet.
Honestly, even if there was an opportunity, Hawken wouldn't need to overtake to get more points, because both of the people ahead are sim racers.
True.
And there are no points on the table. Hawken can just relax and wait and abide their time until the next race starts, basically. Going a bit wide, though, there in the background, Hawken. Through 130R.
Just a little bit distracted from the fantastic battle in front, I think. Dubrovka has been hanging on. But, yeah, now the NSX is pulling away here on the front straight, isn't it?
It seems like that is the case.
Our leader has been uncontested this entire time. I believe they're about to start the final lap of the race as they cross the line this time in just a few moments. They have a 4-second lead over Anderson and about 35 ahead of the next driver in the sim racing class, which is Dubrovka with a yellow flag there. Doesn't lose any position though, although drops back from Radium a bit more. Hawken not close enough to capitalize on that moment. Yeah, the pace up front from Arara no Kyoji has been quite incredible. About 0.6 faster on their fastest lap than the second place Emilia Anderson, and those two are the only drivers to get into the 201s.
The 201s, holy, that is some good pace up front there.
Radium takes a lot of curb on the inside of 130R there, possibly just turning in a bit too early. This gives Dubrovka the chance to come back on the brakes into the final chicane. Looks like Radium have a better exit here though, but Dubrovka's parking on the apex. Oh, a bit of a connection issue there. Oh, and Radium goes into the grass. And spins into the wall.
Distracted by the connection issue.
Yes, yeah, potentially if that was visible for them as well.
Losing the position to Hawken then as well. But Buinovic is not close enough to capitalize on this situation.
No, 6 or 7 seconds between those two right now. Oh, Azarado no Kyoji comes through to take the win in race 1. Anderson about 7 seconds behind in the end. In second place, but still wins the VTuber category. Kaebo Damasu, second place in VTuber category and third on the overall podium. Albert Georgi in second place in the sim racing category, with Pristupa completing the sim racer podium when he comes through in a few moments. On the final lap here, we have Håkan actually quite close to Dubrovka. Appears to be struggling a little bit after that, after gaining that position. Well, I'm not sure Håkan will be close to make any moves here. And as Julian pointed out, won't mean any points for him anyway, as they are in two different categories.
It would just be a pride. And it seems like the pride is coming to Malaysia today.
Håkan was just following that big battle we saw for most of the race there, and actually ended up passing two out of those 3 cars ahead of them. So just shows that biding your time can pay off in the end sometimes.
It can. Håkan going for P8 overall, Dubrovka P9. Then we have
Radium
in P10 and Buinovic following that up in P11. It seems like Merkur rejoined the server, trying to take a better look at the second race. Maybe not disconnecting this time. Hopefully, cross fingers.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, especially after such a, pressuring their opponent into getting a pass there. Quite a nice move, biding time and getting that opportunity, and then, just unfortunate to disconnect there.
I've just received a very major correction. The win for that battle did not go to Malaysia, but Indonesia. Very sorry to all of the Indonesian people. That is a very big difference, and yeah. Oh god. Oh. So,
we prepare for race 2.
We prepare for race 2. What do we say about race 1?
It was a great midfield scrap, wasn't it? The lead uncontested for Arano Kyoji and Anderson in their respective classes. But plenty of battles down the order. That mid-pack, we'll see. Maybe will Victor Masato think he wants to be a bit more aggressive, get ahead of some people earlier on. I think we missed an incident for Masato, actually, because he starts 7th ahead of all of those people he was battling. So, unfortunately, we missed what happened, but he'll be hoping to avoid whatever that was, because potentially he's got the pace to move up, and he was podium in his class. But can he get better than that by catching up to Damasu and Anderson up front? He's got a few sim races to get through if he wants to, but he'll be wanting to avoid going back again.
Yeah, that is going to be the challenge, going through the sim races, isn't it? Because there's Hartog, who is a very good defensive driver, and he's not keen to let anyone pass. Doesn't matter if it's same class or different class. And Albert Georgi, who is also a very good driver, very quick. But we will have to see. Oh, Victor Masato actually starting ahead of Tom Hartog in this case. So we might have had a problem in the first few laps. However, one person who will have to do a lot of work now is Merkur, starting from the last position thanks to the disconnect.
Oh no, that's really unfortunate for them, because they've got good pace, it must be said. Now they've got to work their way through the field to try and get a result here. So, well, there'll be one to watch, that's for sure.
As will Atskia, who joined late today, but is still participating in this important second race.
Yeah, a few people who had incidents in the first race that we'll be looking to have cleaner runs. We know Jordan Brunch was down the bottom with a few moments. DJ Overdrive as well with that stop go. They'll be looking to avoid incidents, I'm sure, and try and move up compared to their results from the first race.
Yeah, and as we are waiting for the second race to start, let's go a bit over what has been said in chat. Unfortunately, no Jack today. Oh, yeah. We would like to have a Jack as well, but not today. Then, what was said? Suzuka is the 6th biggest F1 circuit only. That is an interesting fact. I didn't know that. And that night racing looks stunning. Yes. Night racing, especially around Suzuka, is a beautiful thing. It is very good that we have decided to do this. The DJ Overdrive, unfortunate with the... Well, I don't want to say incident, but the stop and go penalty and follow disqualification, I believe. And Delta Zero, good evening everyone. Good evening to you too. I can only speak for myself right now. I am doing rather, well, stressy because we had some technical issues in the start of the stream. That's why we started like 15 minutes late today with the stream. However, everything should be fine now. We are preparing for second race on Suzuka. 35 more minutes to go. 17 people on the grid. Lots of different manufacturers. We got a few sim racers. We got a few VTubers battling it out for the better positions around. It's gonna be an interesting second race because we saw what pace some people can go. Masato, for example, what pace can Masato go? Quite a higher one than they were doing last race, simply because they were stuck behind some other people, not able to overtake in time in order to play out their full strengths on this track. Masato qualified in 6th, fighting for around about P10 for much of the first race, so it will be interesting to see what they can do. Bujinovic, of course, having had troubles in the first race, spinning out into the pits. Very unfortunate, but something that can happen on Suzuka if you don't have full control of your car. It is going to be interesting to see what Bujinovic can do from that 5th position. Can they drive onto the podium for the sim races? Can they drive onto the podium overall, maybe even challenging Damaso and Anderson? That is going to be interesting to see. It's going to be a challenge. Who can this time around make up the places on the podium? Can Anderson and Damaso be challenged by the sim races? Or can they even challenge Ararano Kyoji for overall win? That is going to be interesting, and we'll see that in the next 35 minutes.
I wonder if Anderson will want to have a look into turn 1, be more aggressive, because it may be their only opportunity looking at the pace of Ararano Kyoji in the first race.
They just need a better starting position. They are quite a few ways back, Anderson, right now. They need to be at least on par with Ararano Kyoji ahead at the starting line in order to take that P1 into T1. But we will see so in a few seconds as the lights will go green.
Green light, go
And we are go. And it's looking like Radano Kyoji has a worse start than last time around, but has the inner line for T1. Anderson trying to stick it at the outside, but does not work. But this time around, Anderson much closer to the BMW of Radano Kyoji ahead. But there's an overtake. Tom Hartog is trying to make up positions there, fighting against Buinovic. And Buinovic goes wide onto the grass, and there is a collision in the back, and that is Mentrix picking up.
There. I think DJ Overdrive heavily involved in that. Let's just go back a moment. I'm not sure that's quite right there. That's the wrong part of the race, I think. Going back to the front of the field though. We're still very close between these two for now, and the cars behind.
Yeah, one thing of the many things I have said in the formation lab did not come true. Buinovic will not be able to show their pace around the track today, as Hawken also goes a bit off track at Spoon.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Drops almost all the way to the back of the field there. Oh, Raging with the yellow flag there. Just going a little bit wide maybe, because they appear to be okay. You know, one thing that we have seen... Oh, Dubrovka with the yellow flag as well. No, nothing again. Just running wide at 130R, I think those yellow flags are. I think Masato has indeed been more aggressive, as we speculated. Up to 5th overall now. One more car to get through before they are looking towards the other VTubers up ahead. But we'll have a lot of work to do still to catch them at the moment.
Props, however, to Merkur, who has already made up half the field in the first lap.
And set the fastest lap of the race as well. So Merkur on a move right now.
But next up are 3 fast sim races to overtake. First of all, the NSX. But there is some carnage further back.
Yeah, let's jump. Oh, I think... that was a bit of a connection, but there's a touch there between the Mercedes. Just cars piling in there, unfortunately, as there's cars strewn across the S's and people running into it, unfortunately.
Yeah, the stewards are gonna have a field day at that one.
Yeah, I think that's Dubrovka, Buinovic. Looks like Panic Fungus has had an involvement in that as well and fallen back. Merkur currently up to 8th. Got a little bit of a gap to the next car though. I think some of that drama has led to a large gap between Merkur and Prastupa up ahead as they go through the second part of Spoon there and run towards 130R with the main pack, which is still quite tightly bunched. And in fact, the lead battle is still only 0.4 seconds right now. I've seen a lot of battles of people in different cars in race 1, but here's an actual battle of 2 people in exactly the same car, so in theory you know your opponent's strengths and weaknesses, and there's no particular advantage you can use.
But one advantage that Anderson could use is the slipstream, but that is not enough to carry them to first place this time around.
Interesting to see Arano Kyoji not pull away quite like race 1, at least not at this stage. Oh, I think we've got another spin here. Buinovic in the and Mentrix as well in the Casio triangle. An unfortunate rejoin from Mentrix there, getting on the power too early, collecting Buinovic.
It's so unfortunate. This is totally not Buinovic's day.
No, yeah, he's been involved in a lot of moments, unfortunately for him. Kaibo Damasu now holds the fastest lap. 6:02. And is actually right on the back of Anderson now. These three at the front still quite close, although Arada no Kyoji beginning to build that gap from Anderson. Just over a second now, but it's not comfortable just yet. Masato has a couple of sim racers catching up to him. We've got Hartog right behind in the BMW. And then immediately behind him, Pristupa in the Aston Martin. Very close they are here. Well, I'm not sure Pristupa will have a good run out of Spoon there after going a bit deep.
And as I said earlier, it's always hard to overtake Tom Hartog, but Tom Hartog is also rather good at attacking, and it's coming really close now as Pristupa goes wide into 130R. But Hartog is right on the back of Masato now, not looking to give any break to the VTuber.
Yeah, Masato went a little bit deep into the chicane, I think, but ended up getting a decent run out of it anyway, so manages to survive for now. Hartog with the lights on, trying to pressure Masato into a mistake. Not sure that's going to work, but you can try.
Masato is, from what I have seen, cool, calm, and collected. Cool as a cucumber. Basically, nothing is going to phase them.
Yeah, I don't think so, but it does look like Hartog has the pace over Masato at the moment. But will they find an opening? Mercure continues his run through the field. Oh, as Pristupa ahead goes on the grass, but gets back on safely, giving Mercure the position though. Mercure has set the fastest lap once again, taking it away from Damasu. Into the 201s actually. Only person in the 201 so far in this race.
As I said earlier, there are some troubles I have with Suzuka. My best times around here are in the 203s. This is wonderful pace shown by some of the racers around here. In these 17-degree optimum conditions around the Japanese track.
Yeah, 203 is not a bad time in this field, it must be said. You'd be probably around where Mercure is right now, although a lot of mixed up times going on, and I think a lot of laps people haven't had lap times yet. A few off tracks here and there, I think, because a few people don't have representative times yet. But I think you'd probably be around the top 10 still.
Thanks for trying to control.
Mercure looking at Hartog now, right on the back of the battle we were looking at a minute ago. Hartog was attacking Masato, but now has to think about defending against Mercure here. Mercure only 2 cars away from the VTuber podium positions if he catches Masato.
I just wanted to say they're Constantinaing up really close, but it's not just the Constantinaing, because out of the corner it is keeping the same distance between the three. They are now really coming together, especially Mercure and Tom Hartog. It seems like Mercure in the Aston Martin has got the pace, but doesn't have the space.
Yeah, Hartog just a little deep into one part of the S's there and allowed Mercure to get right up close. Can't capitalize on it in the Degnas though, just loses the tiniest bit of ground. As we see Hartog catching up a bit to Masato. Interesting battle between these 3 cars who are now almost nose to tail. Oh, Dubrovka with a yellow flag, I think just going wide again. Nothing going on there.
What do you think is going on inside the mind of Mercure right now? What is the goal of a person who started in last position?
He looks like a man on a mission to me. Up how we're 10 minutes into the race. He's gone from last position to 7th. You can see the VTuber podium ahead with the McLaren of Assetto if he can get up to him. You know, I'd be you know, we've all had a disconnection from a sim race, and it's frustrating, especially when you're running well. You'll want to forget about that and make this one a great result to make up for it, I think. And he's working towards that really well so far. And he's right on the back of the BMW out of the Casio triangle here. Will he go for a move into turn 1? He's looking for it. Down the inside. Not really alongside, but can he get it up there as they turn in? Hartog trying to keep it around the outside, but cannot keep it going into the second part of Spoon. Can't clear Mercure before the turn in for the second part of the first 2 turns. So Mercure gets ahead, and it's already setting sights on Assetto. Look at how much he's gained in the first part of the S's alone.
It's incredible, the pace of Mercure right now. However, Anderson again with the purple lap now. It seems like every time the field drops a bit, there is a new purple lap on the horizon.
Well, what I find great is that Mercure keeps setting the occasional purple lap, but he's in traffic. You know, Anderson is well, actually right in a battle for the lead here. Let's go to this. That purple, that was worth it. Right with Arano Kyoji there. I believe they briefly changed positions if we go back here. Yeah, Arano Kyoji goes wide into the hairpin, and for a moment, for a split second, Anderson had nose ahead, but better exit from Arano Kyoji with that wide line anyway, so gets back ahead, but it's very close between the two of them still.
This is definitely the battle for the lead.
And Masato has got past there, and this actually getting passed by Hartog as well. Let's just jump back and see what happened there. Oh, just the slightest bit of oversteering to Spoon gathers it up, but the battle is so close that 2 positions lost in that moment, unfortunately for Victor Masato. So Mercure already podium position in the VTuber category and 5th place overall in the race. An impressive drive.
It's 13 minutes into the race.
I want to see what the lap time is on this lap that he is now starting. Can he go for another purple lap? Fastest lap of the race now that he's got clear air once again, and take it to the guys ahead if he can. His best lap is still only 2/10 off of the overall best of Anderson. Anderson's in a drop back a little bit, but battling the leader. You know, they can't be fast at the moment. Their last lap were both 2:02s, so you know they're not running away with this. Neither of these two.
Even though they're not running away, it seems like Damasu has settled in 3rd position for now. Just vibing.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if Victor can, Mercure can close that gap. It is quite a big gap, but Mercure is on a mission, so it'd be interesting to see how much he can close it, if he can close it completely. Further back in the field, for 12th place, Atsukiya is being caught by Panic Fungus here. In fact, they're very close now, these two Audis in the S's. Oh, and actually Hartog just jumping ahead again. Hartog and Masato are very close still. Masato wanted to get that position back. But they both look a bit squirrely through the second part of Spoon. And the gap just comes out a bit more. Oh, and as we flip away, Atsukiya has ended up out of the race, it appears. I believe they have disconnected. Not sure what happened there. No, I can't see on the replay. They have disconnected, so unfortunate for them. But Panic Fungus now running 12th place. Victor Masato just dropping away from Hartog a little bit, but gaining a bit in those first 2 corners, it looks like.
What?
Oh, Damasu had an issue there. Let's just jump back and see what happened there. I think they were off track in the S's. Oh, I think they must have got on the grass and just ended up not being able to slow down for the first part of the S's. Straight into the barrier there. Lost a few positions there. In fact, even to Mercure, who goes through into 4th place overall.
And 2nd place in the VTuber standings.
Indeed. Everything's, from an unlucky first race, everything is falling into place for Mercure so far. I don't want to jinx that, but, you know, it's going very well for him so far. Up to 4th place overall in just half of the race.
Wasn't Mercure like 1.5 laps ago 7 seconds behind Georgi, and now it's just 3.2 seconds?
It's coming down so fast. I didn't even think he would be able to catch Damasu, but I mean, we'll never know now. Oh, Damasu actually dropping further back. Must have some damage on that car. Continuing to lose.
Oh,
and
right there.
that is Victor Assetto, probably distracted slightly by what's going on. Just getting a slide into Spoon again, where we saw him lose those positions a moment ago. Ends up losing a few more. Damasu gets back ahead, but we think they are nursing a car to the pits potentially.
Front ending into a tyre bundle never ends well for the front bumper.
Yeah, very, very slow. Victor Masato actually and VTuber are going to come back by here. I expect we'll see Damasu go into the pits. Indeed, they peel off, so... Ooh, almost hitting the pit lane entry wall, actually, but keeps it out of it. Into the pits they go, so probably out of contention, unfortunately, for them. The gap between the two leaders was within a second a moment ago. It's just gone out to, well, 1.0 now, 0.9 again now. So, hovering around that second mark, Arada no Kyoji not able to just pull away like they did in the first race.
I'm just stunned. I'm just looking at the times, updating each sector, and Mercure is picking up the pace. Mercure is just 0.3 each sector improving on Georgi. Now directly inside, almost in slipstream range already of the sim racer in the McLaren. Mercure really is on a mission to keep up what they have done so far and to even improve on that. Incredible showing by this person who started in last place, 17th at the start of the race.
Mercure is someone who has been racing in the TRACC VTuber League for potentially all the seasons, I think, actually, or most of them anyway. And he's someone who's always consistent and in good positions, but you rarely see them making big moves necessarily. They just consistently get to these great positions just through being there. But here, certainly putting on a show for us, it must be said. Coming all the way from the back. Radium just going wide a little bit at 130R, but back at the front we're within a second just about between Emilia Anderson and Sakuna Arara no Kyoji. As actually Kaiba Damasu is ahead of them on track, out of the pits and going a lap down, unfortunately for them. Mercure only 1 point... Oh, did Georgi just get slowed down a little bit by a back marker? Just slightly. Gap is almost under a second now between Mercure and Georgi. Oh, as Mentrix just loses it on the grass a bit there and has slowed down Mercure a bit by making contact, I think. Let's go to the helicam and just take a look at what happened. Yeah, it goes wide and Oh, that's a big hit, actually. Well, it didn't look as big from the original camera angle. Let's see if that has affected Mercur's pace much. Gap to Georgi is now 3 seconds, but coming down, actually. So at the moment, it looks okay. But that was a big hit.
Let's just hope that there is no damage. Well, no major damage, at least, to Mercur's car. It seems like they are already picking up the pace again, so it looks good.
Panic Fungus just losing a position to Shigai Hokan. Oh yeah, just going wide. I think that's a run out of the S's. Shikai just zooming by on the inside, touches the grass a little, but gets it past. Was definitely wanting to take advantage of that before the opportunity went away.
Was definitely a code brown there for Shikai.
Indeed. Yeah, it looks like Mercur's car is alright because he's down to within 2 seconds now of Albert Georgi ahead. It will be a challenge for Mercur to get any further out the field if he does get this third place overall, because Georgi is a further 19 seconds now behind. Oh, as we see Mentrix with another spin into the gravel in the S's. Slowly returning to the track.
Making their sponsors proud.
Coming by again, getting the screen time, that's for sure. As you see Radium and Jordan Brunch come by. Close battle at the moment between these two through the S's for 8th place. Lexus using its straight line speed to catch up into the Degners, but not quite there. The lead gap is now as big as it has ever been. Over 2 seconds for a moment there, settling at 2 seconds. Emilia Anderson just falling back a little bit on this previous lap. The last lap by these two was a 2:01.8 each. But I think on this lap we'll see a slower lap by Anderson. Indeed, a 2:03 from Anderson and a 2:02 from Alana Georgi.
I just don't know where these people get their pace from. This is incredible at the front.
Yeah, I wish I had the answer for you.
Yeah, it's also nice to see Jordan Brunch doing better this time around.
Indeed, he's looking
it
racing
out.
right now.
Yeah, looking racy, battling, and trying to overtake, but goes a bit wide through the Casio triangle. Missing their braking spot by a few meters.
Indeed, does the right thing there, and obviously lets the NSX back through of Radium. Doesn't try and full throttle over the chicane, just lets them back through, and he'll have another go when he catches up, I'm sure. Hartog, oh, I was about to say Prestupa catching up to Hartog, but actually pushes a bit too hard and gets on the grass as they run up towards the Degners. So that gap has gone out again now.
I have to say props to Prestupa for keeping it kind of safe after the off-track moment. It's very hard to save such a grass touching.
Yes, that spot normally means you go straight on, and getting it to turn left once you're on the grass is not easy.
Yeah.
Brunch still looking at Radium right behind. Might have another chicane dive later in the lap, perhaps. Mercur was actually quite close to Georgi, but it's just gone out again. But that battle is about to happen as well, as Mercur looks for 3rd place overall still. We'll look at Jordan Brunch for now and see if he can use that straight line speed in a moment after the spoon curve. Oh, Radium getting a little bit wide. That'll help Jordan. And a bit sideways from Radium as well. Jordan is really going to be on it as they go to 130R. A bit of a wiggle from Jordan as well, though.
Lexus has straight line speed, and it is going to use it.
Radium leaves a lot of room and goes wide as a result of that. Doesn't want to fight too hard in what is a dangerous spot, but Jordan Brunch did have the whole car alongside, so props to the two for keeping it clean through such a dangerous corner. First move that we've seen through there in these two races, and a clean one other than the off track, so it's nice to see.
Indeed, props to the two drivers for making that work. Props also to Marco for catching up. Catching up as they do to Albert Georgi for overall podium.
I think Hartog with a spin. Oh, cars coming by very fast, but they get by. They get by safely. For Stupa and Assetto, that was. As Hartog tries to find first after reversing clear of oncoming traffic. He's got a quiet gap now, actually, so gets running again. No dramas there, thankfully, but a scary moment. Mercure and Georgi very close now. Not sure there'll be any straight line advantage to do what Jordan Brunch did just a moment ago into this corner, but he's very close nonetheless, and they'll be looking for a moves when he can get an opportunity for it. Oh, Mentrix off at the hairpin at the moment. Parked up. Not sure if he's planning to retire here or just waiting for an opening. Slowly making his way on back onto the track. As the leaders begin to come by, but we'll go back to Georgi and Mercure. Just half a second between the two. Making moves is a lot easier when you have a big straight line advantage like we saw with the Lexus, but these two cars, neither of them seems to have a advantage on the straight over the other one, and even with the slipstream, it's going to be hard for Mercure to find an opening here, even if he does appear faster than Georgi throughout this race.
I think the best chance for Mercure would be out of the Degner curves, keeping more speed out of the technical section of Suzuka, and then into the hard braking zone of the hairpin. Because, as we've said today already, the brakes on that Aston. But therefore they need to manage to keep up over the rest of the track and catch up during the S's and Degners. Looks like they're doing rather well today, but Georgi with a bit of a better exit out of the Casio Triangle here.
Yeah, it's hard to get a significantly better exit over your opponent when the cars are so similar and so evenly matched drivers as well. The slipstream alone isn't enough. There's a battle further back as well. Panic Fungus being caught by Bunovic, who's had such an unlucky race earlier on. Trying to move up, but still towards the back of the field, unfortunately for them. It's caught up to Panic Fungus, but it's a matter of finding an opportunity. Mercure very close to Georgi as they come out of the S's. Can he do exactly as you say, Julian, and get this hairpin move?
Too far back, I believe. yeah, the exit of the Degner 2 was the undoing of the possible move. And we're only 5 minutes to go. We only have 3 or 4 laps left until the checkered flag. So there are not that many opportunities for Merker to make that move.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to be in a rush to do so, to be fair, because the two, as they pass Mentrix there, the two are in different categories. Georgi in the sim racing category, Merkur in the VTuber category. Although actually, is this an opportunity? Merkur is looking for 130R at the inside, but oh, gets cut off by Georgi, unsurprisingly, not really alongside there, but it's all clean between the two. Merkur is really hungry for this though. He's gaining a little bit on the straight. Has a look, as we saw him do earlier on. But will it have the same results? Not yet. Georgi keeps together in turns 1 and 2.
Doesn't work on everyone.
It's worth a shot though. Looks like a better exit for the McLaren there to me, out of the SS section and towards Degner's. Very wide actually from Georgi there. Isn't the preferred line, but it does give you a good exit onto this run towards Spoon. So often you kind of you make a mistake, but then you win back the time you lost by having that good exit. Merkur certainly not close enough to capitalize on that wide moment into Spoon. Oh, but Georgi goes wide into Spoon. They're side by side. Georgi with a better exit here though. Georgi is succumbing to the pressure at the moment, it seems. A few mistakes there.
There's just a few more minutes, just a few more laps left to go in this race. And as this battle continues, will Georgi succumb finally to the pressure of having Merkur behind the entire race? Or will they iron through it?
Yeah, Merkur having that look and trying to take the opportunity has actually led him to lose some ground, just because it led to a bad exit. He's not by no means far away, but it's not quite on the tail like he was a few moments ago, but catching back up again, as we keep seeing in this race.
What I find interesting is that Merkur seems to be so well behaved, not pressing the flash button a single time. If I were in that position, I would be flashing each corner that has an overtaking opportunity.
I like to put some of the indicators on, since you can do that. People think, what's that mean? Completely throws them off, I'm sure.
The mind games are not being played as heavily by these two contenders, however. Merkur seems to be catching up a bit through the technical sections of Suzuka, but what can the McLaren, which should have straight line advantage, do as we come onto the back straight?
Looks like maybe a little bit better exit for Merkur, but is it enough? Has a run, looks for the inside of 130R again. Gets cut off. Compromises exit as a result of that. You have to wonder, is it worth having that look, or do you just stick in line and then go for it into the chicane? Good brakes on the Aston, as you mentioned earlier. Could compromising yourself in 130R be a mistake, even if you've got the run?
Yeah, Marco should try and stay on the back of Georgi through 130R and try to go for the move.
Just
into
jumping
the
back.
Casio triangle. As Masato is looking to do here.
He's looking at
on the back of
Prestupa here.
Prestupa.
Yes, and he was very close into the chicane. Prestupa defended though, and not to be happening this lap. And loses a bit of ground as a result. Leader is on the final lap, so I believe this will be the last lap for these two as well.
Oh, Marco is really getting racy now.
It's his last chance to do it if he wants to get it. Wide from Georgi, but gets back on track ahead.
It seems like gets a better exit out of Degna 2 even.
It's a good line, that. Wide into the hairpin, but we'll get a better exit as a result, potentially, yet pulling away at the beginning of this straight from McCurr. Oh, wide again in Spoon like we saw earlier. McCurr can't capitalize yet. Gets a much better exit though. Arara no Kyoji will win the race in a moment ahead of Anderson, but we'll stick with this battle for now. Oh, and wide from McCurr. He kept behind, but couldn't get the grip behind the other car, unfortunately. Look how close he is, though. He won't be able to capitalize on it, though. Will come home in fourth. Still second place in the VTuber category. And second place for Georgi in the sim racing category. Arara no Kyoji has already finished the race in first place. It was 10 seconds to Captain Anderson, who had actually a very slow last lap, it must be said. But they finished in the lead once again in the VTuber category. So the same winners in both classes for both races. But McCurr certainly making up for the unfortunate disconnection in race 1 with a fantastic drive through the field to fourth. Celebrates that fourth place overall with some donuts. Prestupa stayed ahead of Masato in fifth. It's very close between them at the line, it looks. Our dog's gonna follow through. In sixth place, Jordan Brunch. Jordan Brunch had a quiet but good race up through the field, actually. Seventh place right now. Well, Dubrovka and Hawken very close as they come to the line. Dubrovka will get it. In different classes, of course, but... Actually, no, I think Hawken got it just on the line. I didn't think he'd make it, but Hawken just about ahead of Dubrovka at the line there for 8th place.
All right, so after this second race, what can we say? There have been some different battles, but great battles nonetheless, especially Georgi versus Merkur for the last few laps.
Yeah, that was a fantastic little battle, and Merkur's drive through the whole field. That was, you know, we wondered if he'd be a man on a mission after starting last, and, well, yeah, he was. He went all the way up to 4th place. You know, what a fantastic drive.
All right. So, and on that bombshell, let us thank you all for watching, and thank you for racing to the races. Thank you for giving us such a great show today if you're watching this. And you'll see us next week when we will be racing at Bathurst for the season finale. It will be a 69-minute race around Mount Panorama. That is going to be, well, I don't want to say carnage, but it's going to be interesting to spectate nonetheless.
Yeah, that'll be a very interesting race. What a fantastic racetrack Bathurst is.
Yes, exactly. And in that case, again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week at Bathurst. Goodbye.